My name's Corey Porche. I have the honor to be interviewing Mr. T.C. Parker, the T.C. Parker Band, and his wife. What? Sorry, T.C. Carter. T.C. Carter and his wife, Chelsea, T.C. Carter Band. So welcome, guys.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Absolutely. How is where are you guys from originally, T.C.?
We're from Martinsville, Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were kind of talking earlier a bit. I mean, that's the South.
Yeah, it's going south. And we love it, man. It's a little small town where we come from. You know, not a lot of people. So, you know, I'm a little country boy. She a little country girl. That's about it. You know what I mean?
Nice. Tell me, but real quick though, country boy, country girl, how did y'all, because Chelsea sings with you in the band. Mm-hmm. So tell me how that came to be that you guys got together.
Well, first off, we are married. We've been married, getting ready to go on 10 years for us. But we met back in high school. You know, we started out doing talent shows together. And we would just, she plays keyboard as well, and she sings, and she writes a lot of stuff, and so do I. I love to write music. And we just started hanging out and doing talent shows together, and then before you know it, you know, we kind of found love in that process of making, you know, music together. And we've been chasing each other, and now we done found each other for 10 years. So I'm just glad to have her, man, and it's been a great experience.
Very nice. Thank you. And what you guys have similar backgrounds musically. I know in doing some research about you, it kind of says that you were steeped in music from a very young age. And I think through speaking with you guys, I've heard that there's a little bit of similarities there. Tell me a little bit about y'all's musical background.
It all come from church. You know, my grandpa is a pastor, little old country church, little Pentecostal holiness church, and his dad's a pastor of the same kind of background, Pentecostal holiness. You know, we get down when it comes to music, and that's where our whole band comes from, just those southern roots of a back home country church.
So if we go way back, like I'm just trying to picture you guys, like how young are you actually? I'm sure there's like a being in the crowd, but I'm curious, like if your grandpa was the pastor, at what point are you actually starting to engage on stage, singing or playing guitar in church?
I was 3.
Okay.
They couldn't keep me off
The stage, yeah.
They couldn't keep me off the altar up there. I mean, I just ran up there to sing every chance I got, and I think he was about the same age.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 4 years old, and then I didn't actually get good at guitar till I was about 8 years old. My dad started a church, and it was just my dad, me, my mom, which plays keyboard, and my brother, which plays drums, my oldest brother. And it was about that time when he started the church. It was just us members in the church, nobody else. It was just our little family of the church, and I got the opportunity to really showcase my guitar playing, but I wasn't good.
Well, hold up. I got to ask
wasn't
you a
good,
question,
man.
TC, because you saying I didn't get good till I was set. When did you pick up a guitar?
At the age of 4.
Oh, I thought you were like running on the stage. You picked up a guitar at the age of 4.
Yeah, I picked
Was
it up.
guitars in your house? Like, did they have guitars in your house?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
you know, I come from a music family. My mom is the whole reason why I play the way I play. She was very strict about music. I mean, if she always told me, if you ain't playing from the heart or have no feeling to what you're playing, then there's no need to be playing. Because music is based off of feel. You know what I mean? You can inspire so many people and touch people just by words and music. It's crazy. But yeah, I picked it up at 4. My dad started a church, so around 8, I got to start really playing in church. But it was one Sunday I stood up and I testified to God, I want to learn how to play. I want to be able to play. And I started shouting and running the aisle of the church. And this is the honest truth. I sat back down and picked the guitar up at 8. And the way I played at 8 years old is how I play now. I never had lessons or anything. So it's very powerful for me.
Yeah, and I can tell you that, like, hearing your music, like hearing you play, there is something very powerful going on. I mean, the second that, like, I turn you on, it's like, oh, oh, he's doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that has stayed with you through these years, man. Very interesting. So 7 years old at church. I mean, tell me a little bit more about the journey after that.
Well, after that, I started obviously to realize that I can play pretty good now. And I would always go out to church, and they would always ask me to, do a solo of Amazing Grace. And it would just be me and my mom. She would play the keyboard, and that's all we would do is just go around churches playing at funerals or just anything. And I got asked to come play at this church, which was a Baptist church near my house, and they was having this male course anniversary. And I came in and I played my little one song, Amazing Grace, and there was another young group there called the Gospel Connection. And they was like, hey, man, we'd love to have you a part of our band. And I was like, okay, so I gave it a shot. And then from there on, I played with them, and I just kept on going, man. And I was young out here running around state to state, playing with older guys, so I just learned a lot. Yeah.
Man, I'm super curious about, so I grew up Catholic, which is a whole nother world, right? I'm curious about if you could talk a little bit about this notion of like the churches that y'all grew up in, how strong the music was, and then I'm hearing about these bands and like touring. So are you touring a church? Can you just like give us a peek into that world a little bit?
So our churches, and I can pretty much speak for him too, it is you set the tone when you start your first song. You want to get everybody in the attitude of praise and worship and whatever the case may be. The piano player at my grandpa's church, she's one of them people. She had a set of shoes sitting underneath the piano, and my papa, he built the church and had to end up putting a concrete slab underneath it because she had put a hole in the floor
Getting it.
from going like that. So growing up, it was nothing to get pointed out or called out saying, hey, you're not here, and if you're not gonna, if your goal is not to make these people feel different than the way they came in, then just sit down.
So as a band member, so like people that were playing music, like, hey, no, because you're not getting it. So I'm curious about, you said kind of being a part of bands and touring. So what churches host traveling bands to come and
That's very
do
common.
part of the worship? Okay.
Very common, yeah.
Very cool. And the nature of the songs, can we talk about the music a little bit?
For me, far as gospel goes, we're kind of big on quartet.
Okay.
Quartet music.
Singing, quartet singing, right?
Yeah. For me, that's what I was into. When I got with that group, the Gospel Connection, that's what that was, a quartet group. So I was in the quartet group field from that age on up to probably, I'd say, 18, 19 maybe. I was in it very heavy at that time. I can't really speak on what, I guess what,
Hymnals, just good old precious Lord, sign me up, Jesus on the main line. I mean, all the old school hymnals. So we just took it and put our own little flavor to it. And
Yeah.
But see, I don't mean to rush it, but see, that's the beauty of me and her being together. We could take a little bit of her background. If it got a little country to it, that'd be great. Then I could take a little bit of the quartet that I grew up in. We put both styles together, mixed all into one. And, that's why I really don't, it's really hard to say what the label of our band is because I'm going to play for that person that may be into different styles of music. You're going to get all that in one song.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
That's awesome. So I'm wondering, I have some in-laws who were from more of that kind of tradition, right? And I was told that growing up, this is like in North Louisiana, that they did not listen to a lot of popular music outside of church music, right? I see you giggling a little bit. Is that a similar experience for you?
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I'm curious about if y'all could speak to that a little bit. Like, were you listening? Did you have to sneak that, or was that kind of not okay? Did you do that when you were older? Like, what other things, or was it mostly church influenced? your earlier years, or I would say, although I'm really interested all the way up through high school.
Yeah, it was definitely sheltered, and I'm not saying this like in a negative way because I'm thankful for it. My family just wanted to be sure that what I was putting in my mind was gonna, come out in a positive way.
Yeah.
So I remember hearing secular music, and I remember the way I felt.
How old?
5 or 6. Like, we thrived on music, and I remember how church music made me feel, and then I felt like conflicted in my spirit because secular music made me feel that way too. It was just the music, not necessarily the words.
Ah, okay.
It was the way that music made me feel, which just completely piqued my curiosity. I wanted more. I wanted to know more. And the first secular album I ever owned was Alicia Keys.
Whoa, you went from like,
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna like, go
No.
through Patsy Cline or something
No.
first. You went
okay.
straight.
No, definitely
Okay.
not. It was Alicia Keys, and I was in the 5th grade. And I
Did you get in trouble, or did you
No,
have to
well,
sneak it?
my family had to listen to it first, and then it went from there. But I remember singing the way she sang and like kind of connecting with her and understanding runs and picking up on different types of harmony other than just a regular 3-part. And I was curious and wanted to learn more, and it just kind of went up from there.
What about you, TC? Like outside, like church music versus secular music as you grew up.
Definitely church music was always playing in the household. But I think my mom understood that her son at a young age just loves different styles of music. And now I'm not going to say that I can get in the car with my mama and we're going to listen to Keith Sweat on Vacation all the way down the road. But I think she may let me get one song in because I like the music, because I don't hear words. I can listen to a song and I can remember it, but I can't remember words. I don't know why it's like that. It's crazy. So I only listen to music.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, it's not crazy. I'm a musician a little bit myself, and I get the same thing. If you ever hear me singing a song, it's gonna be blah, 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 but I'm gonna be following the melody. I don't hear. I
can
hear
tell
it
you what the middle part
hear the
did,
music. Yeah,
what changed
absolutely.
it, who played what.
No, I totally get that. So your mom is
Yeah.
Miss Della
Yeah,
Carter.
Della Mae Carter.
Yeah. So tell me, Miss Della. So was she kind of feeding you, like letting you have some secular music as you were growing up? Like,
She like I said, I would find time to get my songs that I may want to listen to, but it wasn't like something that's going to get blasted in the house. But I don't know. I was, like I said, I was all around older people all the time, so I heard all kinds of music. You know what I mean? And but it's one crazy thing. And my cousin, which I have an older cousin, I used to go stay with in the summer. All he would listen to is like hard, heavy metal rock. And it's crazy. At the young age, I say maybe 12, 13, hanging out with him, I fell in love with rock music.
what kind of, when you say he's listening to hard, heavy, what kind of stuff were you talking about?
I couldn't give you any names, so
Okay.
I'm just going to name one that's my fan now. It would be Nickelback now. What is it, Three Doors?
I prevail.
I Prevail.
Nice.
I mean, I got a little catalog list. I can't name them all. But, yeah, I'm heavy in it, man. So I listen to a lot of music, man.
Okay. So tell me about the transit. Like, I know that there were some turning points in your church-based musical career. You want to speak to that a little bit?
Yes. So I stopped doing the quartet. Then I moved over and created my own band, which used to be called T.C. Carter and the Musical Sensations. I created that, and all we was doing was an instrumental band playing jazz, and it was like jazz gospel.
Still at church, like church-based, or you started to kind of
We
stretch
would
out a
do
little
some
bit?
shows, but mainly we would do like festivals and just anywhere, bars and stuff. But it was like, it was all that early age to where I was hanging around different people, and I got to understand what it meant to get drunk before a show or get high before a show. I took all of that And once I got older, I started experimenting myself. And I was like, man, this is a fun feeling to play a guitar. You can play just about anything if you're out of your mind.
Right.
And I continued to do that. And I had like a great show that came up in Nashville for the band that could have really set me on my way. I think the winner of it, you get like some tour, you go to Disney World or something crazy like that. And I went up there, man, and we got second place. And like I said, my habits are getting worse. So after we lost in second place, we was like, we're going to go again next year. The time that we go next year, my parents didn't go. They just let the band. I can drive at this time. Mm-hmm. So we get up there, and like I said, my habits got worse. And I literally went up there and showed my tail. I don't even think we made it out of the first little round to like get to the finals. I ruined it all. Yeah. And so the band split up at that moment on the way back, you know, because I was out of control. So I took 10, 11 years and didn't do anything with a band. Of course, I played on Sunday mornings at church somewhere, but that was it. No practicing guitar, no nothing. Until about 2020. You know, my wife took me to an Eric Gale show. And if anybody's familiar with who he is, he's a great blues artist or whatever category you want to put him in, he's that guy. So she took me. I heard about him before, so she got tickets and surprises on our anniversary. She took me. The first note that he hit when they did their first intro, I'm behind her. I'm literally in tears. I could almost get in tears right now because I can see them. I can see that moment. And I started crying behind her because I seen him on the stage and I seen the crowd and I know what that feels like. And I haven't experienced it in 10, 11 years. I ran from it. You know what I mean? And I told my wife in that moment, I was like, thank you for this show. And I was like, when I get back home, I am going to pick that guitar up, create me an Instagram, something, because I didn't even do social media. That's how in a box I was with myself. You know what I mean? And she could tell you, I went back home, and how serious was it?
Very.
And I literally started making tracks for people and doing all this stuff. And then I just said, you know what, I think it's time. I think it's time to create this band, and that's what we're doing. And we're only in our third year together, and we're down here in Baton Rouge, man. So
at the Blues
if that ain't
Festival.
a message to tell somebody, man, that you can do just about anything.
Yeah, man.
I mean.
Hold up. I'm going to be honest with you, though. I don't know if we could all just do about anything. I think what sticks out to me about your story, TC, is that you were blessed at a young age with something, and I think in listening to your story, for me, going to that concert, that first note tapped back into that, because you kind of can't, and I don't mean to go too far off, but you kind of can't turn your back on those kind of blessings, and I think that like went straight. I get that feeling, like, you know, when people talk about, I don't want to go down too far down, but I'm just saying, like, the Holy Spirit. I mean, that's that. As a musician, there's moments
okay
where
to get
like
that deep,
it
though.
rolls you in the back of your spine.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you were called back. And there's something else I just learned. Can you talk? Because I was asking a lot of blues musicians play a lot of covers. They might only play covers. What about you guys?
We do only originals. We have a couple cover songs because, you know, every event's different, every venue's different. Some people enjoy cover songs or a cover band, but in our experience, people love our originals. They may not know the words, but it's just kind of what from the very first note to the very first word that was written, we put into that song when we're at home writing it what we want people to get. So, like, from the start, we want people to feel, you know, just a little part of us, you know, I mean, just happiness, positivity, you know, self-confidence. So we kind of manifest that into our songs from the start. Yeah. And sometimes it's not really intentional, but, you know, our hearts are pure, our intentions are pure, and regardless of what platform we may be on, even though we're not at church anymore, you know, it's still the same concept. Like, we still want people just to feel positive, in a world that is so negative and can be so cruel and so mean, you know, it's good to have 30 minutes of a band that's just manifesting positivity to you, you know, and whatever you believe in.
The only thing I'm gonna not disagree, but I'm gonna add to is, see, my spirituality says that what you guys might do here in a little bit, I can consider that church if you take it to them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a beautiful day outside.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's awesome, guys. You know, it seems like just a few years ago, you decided, like, boom, let's make a band. You know, we're gonna do this thing. Y'all sound amazing. What's next, man? What's on the horizon? I think you mentioned earlier, so like y'all have other jobs and stuff. Like this is a side gig.
We have jobs. We are parents. So
One or two? How many? Three.
Yeah.
Tell me ages, names.
We have 12. They want to be 12 this year.
Yeah.
We have 8. And then we have a 6. We'll be about 7.
So y'all are busy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I would say the next thing that's coming up for us is try to get an album out. And we're having a hard time with it because I'm like, you know, if that studio place, when I walk in there just to greet the guy that's going to do the album, if that energy that we can't connect with ain't right, how can I sit in here and put out music that's going to touch somebody? It's got to be so I don't know when it'll happen, but I believe I'll get led when it's time come.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's pretty much waiting on. And plus, too, it takes a long time to get originals to that level that you can finally say, I'm done trying to rewrite this and let it just be what it is. And so that's the next thing. We got a lot of shows coming up soon. But, you know, I'm just ready to get up here and have a good time. Like you said, this is a good day today. I believe it's going to be a good time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, is this y'all's first time to Louisiana?
Yep, first time.
Thoughts so far?
It's beautiful, but we drove 14 hours yesterday and kind of crashed when we got here. So this is kind of our first time stepping out and exploring around a little bit. But this area here is beautiful, very historic, and yeah, it's good.
Are you guys foodies? Y'all like good food?
Oh, we
Yeah, we
tapped
did
into
that yesterday.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully you're gonna do
That
a whole
put
bunch
me in
of
the
it.
bed.
Hopefully y'all gonna do a whole bunch of it today too. How does it feel, I guess, you know, being from Virginia, like to come down here? I mean, that's the South. I call this the dirty South, right? Like, so, and even closer to like the bastion, like the home of the blues, you know? Thoughts?
I had a whole lot of things I was thinking about coming down the road. First off, I want to say this. I don't really like to get into all of the racial type of things, black and white thing. But one thing I will say, that was on my mind heavily coming down here. I was just thinking about that, how far we done came, and now you got people like me and my wife here that's, you know, different race and together, and it's just, it was a lot I was thinking about coming down here, and I felt like I don't have no choice but to come here and do something, to write something in history myself. And a lot of greats have been down here, man. A lot of greats have came from this area, Mississippi, all around in these areas, man. And I'm just glad to be here and being a part of it, and that's speaking for the whole band as well.
Yeah, well, we are very happy to have you guys, you know. And I hope that you get to pick up on some of this vibe that we have going on around here, some of this history, as well as some of the music, some of the food, you know. But we are excited to have you guys. Do you guys have any questions out there? We only have a couple of minutes left. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Repeat the question if you don't mind.
I'm sorry.
Can you repeat the question a little bit?
Yeah.
If
So
you don't
she's
mind?
asking if it's more of like spiritual music or secular music, and the originals we write are more so secular, and I think what we were kind of meaning is just the feeling that we put behind it is centered around our faith and where we come from. We're mostly blues, rock, a little bit of country, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of R&B. You know, we wear a lot of hats in the band, and you might hear a little bit of everything today. He goes off feeling. We don't have a set list. We just kind of go with it and make sure that our shoes are in four-wheel drive so that we can step with it and be right there with him when he's ready to go. We all follow him and what he's feeling. So we don't know what you're going to hear today, but we can promise you'll enjoy it.
If you go to TC's Facebook page, there's a reel on there. That's a clip of them playing at a festival, and I think the title of it is Chemistry, and as a musician myself, I don't know, man. I would say there's chemistry, but based on the story that you guys have heard here today, I think it's a little bit more than chemistry. I think it's some spirit in there too. So I don't know how you would classify it, secular or spiritual, but I'm saying that there's some energy going on there that transcends and you don't hear all the time. It's beautiful. The way that in that reel, the way the band plays together, and I'm watching your drummer, and I'm watching y'all, like when your drummer does something, I'm watching you look back like, yeah, and that's what's up. And to be able to experience that amongst yourselves, you know, the crowd gets that too. If y'all ain't having fun, we ain't having fun. You know, we could hear music. I'm spoiled. I'm from Lafayette, Louisiana. I mean, we got a lot of good music. In Baton Rouge, Louisiana's, we're pretty lucky over here to have this good music. So we could tell if you're lying to us.
Well,
you know?
I'm going to add to what you just said. I just want to send a message out here to other bands, whoever you are. Let's get out of taking things so serious. For real. I mean, this is a gift that we all have. We're blessed with it. Let's have fun with it. Let's be thankful of it.
Yeah.
Don't try not to fire your drummer just because he's dropped his stick.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, love, build people up. Don't bring them down, man.
I love that. Thank you. Do you guys have any kind of last remarks for us before we get y'all to the stage?
We're just here to spread love and joy and hope people can move a little bit in the process.
Well, I love that, and I'm coming to move to what y'all have to share with us today. So you guys can see TC, the TC Carter Band, TC and Chelsea and the rest of their band at 2:45 to 3:45 at the Visit Baton Rouge Swamp Blues stage. So TC, Chelsea, thank you guys very much for spending this time with us,
Enjoyed
sharing
it.
a little
Thank
bit of
you.
yourselves.